Hey everyone, Luke here, and yeah, we didn't, me and Pyjams didn't expect this, but yeah, last week was a break week for Witch Watch, which we totally missed, but anyway, we are back, we are ready to go, so yeah, let's just dive right into it. So this is Witch Watch Chapter 243, titled Bone Crisis Part 12, and again, given the nature of how this arc has been structured, the fact that we're still haven't even got into the crux of the main battles yet, I honestly believe that this arc is going to be the longest arc. Like I said, don't know if it's going to get up to part 25 or part 30. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we're still in this arc by the end of June, like the start of the summer month. So anyway, we don't pick up with the fight between Wolf and Agro. The fight between Wolf and Agro. We cut back over to what happened after Murray got trapped in the cocoon with Shakimia, and Nico feeling ever so more defeated, of just like feeling absolutely powerless, like there was nothing she could do for Murray. Like in her mind, she's probably thinking at this point, like, it's happened again. Like the one chance that I had that I could try to protect Murray, I failed, just like how it happened with Day of Disaster when Shakimia shot Murray directly through the heart, and she's just lamenting her powerlessness at this moment. But as she's doing this, she looks up and sees Hibana, who is just passed out on the floor. After everything that's gone, there's broken branches, there's explosion marks. There must have been a really big fight that went off here, and sure enough, right there is the soul box. Like just right, like you got Hibana on the floor, passed out. The soul box is right there. It's right there for the taking. And Nico, even though she's very nervous, she's seeing the opportunity that she's seeing it, and is literally going over right now. It's a pretty tense moment, because she's worried, like, oh, is she gonna get up? Am I gonna get the soul box? Is she gonna get up? And as she does it, like you see Hibana just like going like, it's like, oh. So Nico is just there like, okay, grab it. So she grabs it and she's like, okay, is something going to happen? Is something going to happen? But as she's going to leave, her foot actually has, and Hibana like just weighs up. So it is a pretty effective moment that I hear. It's a classic moment that's happened here, but it's very effective the way it's handled here. And yeah, Hibana looks absolutely pissed off that Nico has actually gotten her hands on the soul box, and she's like, "Oh, give it back here right now." But Nico is taking no for an answer, just hoping that she'll go back to bed and back to sleep. And sure enough, Hibana starts using her explosion abilities. And yeah, she's like, okay, Nico, if I can catch you, that'll solve anything. And Nico was like, okay, yeah, bail right now. Let's just get right out of here. And yeah, I didn't expect this. Hibana versus Nico, like, that's a fight. That's a fight that I didn't expect. Although it's not going to be much fight, more it's like a game of cat and mouse between them. And I think that this might actually, because Hibana says like, if I can catch you, that will solve everything. I reckon that Hibana is going to use this to her advantage. Like she might actually get to a point where Nico is just so full of dread, so full of despair that she might actually be the one to actually turn Nico to the dark side, and to actually potentially become a warlock herself essentially, and become the Festival Juru in this roundabout way. That's something that could potentially happen. Hey, anything's possible in this series. So as Hibana throws her explosions, like Nico just gets on a broom, just starts flying away, and Hibana starts to give chase and say, "You won't escape me, Nico." Before we cut over to Charmy. So yeah, getting a lot of like set up for other fights here, like fights that I never thought that would happen in the series, because we know like the witches, like they can't actually technically fight back, because if they do, then they have potential to become warlocks themselves. And yeah, like I said, I feel like this is what Hibana is going to do in this fight, this game of cat and mouse between her and Nico. Like she's going to go Nico into attacking her, potentially turning her into a warlock herself. Now that's a possibility that it could happen, like I said. But yeah, we call over to Charmy, who's speaking with Wolf, who's speaking with with Slump and saying like, oh, how is Nico holding up in all of this? I hope she's laying low and staying out. I was like, yeah, not exactly going to be doing that now, Charmy, given what we've just seen. As Slump says to her, oh, the bone has been disposed of, what should we do next? And Charmy is thinking like, oh yeah, that's a good question. We've done our part, so like what is needed to do? So Nemu came over to help us out. I guess we should go back to Muriel to back Muriel up in her place. So let me check on where the warlocks are really quickly. So as she does this, she's like immediately like, oh crap, things are going to shit here. I can feel one of them really moving really fast. They're moving along where the green court should have been, and yeah. Slump, like, they both immediately think, like, okay, Nico was there, a warlock's giving chase, like something is going on here. Like, Nico is chasing a warlock out of the green room, and yeah, Chom is like, no, it's the other way around. A warlock must be chasing Nico. But whatever it is, like, we know what we're doing next. We're rescuing Nico, so we're gonna be moving out there. So yeah, Nico and Charmy versus Hibana, yeah, just setting up for that fight. Although this could be. Oh, this is actually giving me ideas here. Like, Slump maybe turning on Charmy and Charmy having to fight Slump. Like, or maybe, like, Nico having to fight against Charmy after being turned into Warlock, or the other way around. Like, okay, if Nico doesn't get turned into a warlock, maybe Charmy might actually be the one to be turned into a warlock. Like Charlie and Slump versus the group, like that would be a twist. Considering we've known Charmy, this will actually make up for the whole Dory being revealed to be a villain. Like if Charmy actually becomes a villain, has to fight against the main character, yeah, that would be interesting, and it would make up for that. Like I said, because like I said, the problem with Dory being a warlock, it's that he became a warlock pretty much like just after his introduction. Like with Charmy, she was the main character for our part 2, and like if she got turned into a warlock, I'd be perfectly happy about that, because like we know her, and it's a twist that yeah you could predict that's going to happen, but it's going to be shocking as well, and it'll be interesting to see like if she actually goes up against Nico, like when Nico was her student, like teacher versus student kind of dynamic we're going on here. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Either Nico gets turned into a warlock or Charmy gets turned into a warlock. That would be something that I would actually be really looking forward to if it does actually come about. So now we cut over to the main portion of the chapter, which is getting to see the start of the battle between Miyu and Maverick, as Maverick is going on and on about a friend of his called George, who was a really nice guy to everybody who loved him, and he was dumb, obviously. Not many folks had ever liked him. One day, George got really sick. The doctor said he couldn't be cured. All he could do was lay in a bed, writhe in pain, and wait for the end. Whenever George said that, I'd hurt myself in the same spot. So, like, basically, this friend of mine who was important to me, whenever he got hurt, I had to be hurt in the same place. And I wanted to share in his something whatever I could. So, guess Maverick's a masochist? Is that what we're implying here? But yeah, when the doctors told him the end was looming, he asked him to be there and told him, I wish it had been you, not... Oh my god, it's a twist on the, it's the whole, it should have been me, not him, but no, I wish it had been you, not me. So basically, what Maverick is saying here is that all the friendship stuff goes here because his friend basically pushed him on the. From what I'm getting out from this story, like Maverick viewed this George character as like a genuine friend, and then George was like, no, I wish you were in my place, and it wasn't me. So he's saying like, oh, all that friend, so he let that friendship go to his head, and he's asking Miyu a very in his eyes a very important question, like if Morihito is so really someone so important, you put your life on the line for him. think about it, really. Do you want to go up against me for his sake? You're as skinny as a beanpot. It's like, he's basically saying, like, look, I'm a big muscular guy here that could basically, like, one flick and I could throw you over in an instant, and you're just a skinny, grown guy. Like, he's basically underestimating Muriel here, and that's a wrong thing. You should never underestimate people, no matter their appearance, because you never know what kind of tricks they have up their sleeve. Especially in a series like Witch Watch, which has a lot of spells, a lot of magic going on here, and especially Muriel, who only has to do one touch, drain your fire ability, and then it's just like, oh, you're just slumped out on the ground. So after Maverick stops talking, Muriel is just like, just giving up the side of like, oh my god, are you done now? Because you sure do love you do love hearing yourself talk, and and are you done raising all the various mock about to die flags as you could do? Like, basically like, oh my god, can we get on with this fight right now? I've got things to do, things to be there. I can see from your expression, but don't tell me you're scared. I take that back. I can definitely see it through your expression quite clearly. And yeah, Maverick will say that, oh, do you really want to go up against me? You're a bean sprout. But then he immediately says, like, I don't think Maverick thinks through what he says half the time, because he's like, oh, you're speed sprout, do you want to go up against me? And then he's like, oh my god, the vampire was what Shikimia warned us about, to watch out for the monsters. He gives his swordsman, he can heal any minor wounds, and he can steal all your physical energy with just a touch. Like, so Maverick should have really thought about not trying to insult Muriel when he knows he can literally just drain your energy with a touch. Like, Maverick, use your head for once. Unless that really is his personality. Like, I'm just a meathead who's not going to think, but despite the information that I've been told that is vital information for this fight, that I have to be careful of this guy, because one touch and I could go down on the ground. As he says, this kid is the nastiest treat they've got. Get too close to his bad idea. Well, with my abilities, it won't be a problem. But he's saying he's a gifted swordsman, can heal any wounds? Like, yeah, he's a gifted swordsman, so even if you have your abilities, it will still be a problem because of his sword skills as well. And yeah, sure enough, the fight does start to get going, as it's stated that a melee range brawl perhaps isn't he going to fight using his magic. In either case, keeping him at swords then seems wise. So yeah, Muriel's saying this, like, just trying to analyze the situation right now. Okay, like, what's going to happen? Am I okay? Have I got anything going on here? But no, as he pulls out something and he questions Maverick, like, oh, what do you think this is? As it's one of the sweets that has a spell on it, and it's like, the spell is through and through, which basically means pass through solid objects. So as Muriel passes through the games machines, he says to Maverick, like, oh, who says we have to fight? Bye. I have to go and help Mojito, so we can have our little game afterwards. But as he's trying to get away, Maverick just bursts right through the door. From what I can understand from from the panels, like, one of the rocks that Maverick sort of like bats through, like, hits Muriel on the head, causes him to go flying, and he's like, oh, what the heck just happened? So he was using a long range attack. Oh no, okay, so we get like more of an idea of what Maverick's abilities are, and why he literally brought that story of George earlier, and why he was like sharing the pain. So like, we see Maverick burst his head through the door. Muriel's head is hit. He falls to the ground. He's like, what the hell just happened? And then he says a long range attack, was that his magic? And as Maverick punches himself, Muriel feels the exact same pain in the exact same spot. So it's basically like projected pain onto your opponent. For simpler terms, it's Shunswee's Bonkai ability, like the first ability of his Bonkai, like whatever pain he gets, the enemy gets. It's the exact same thing here. So like, whatever pain Maverick does to himself, Mirio feels the pain. So Mirio says like, oh, you're punching your own body, as Maverick says, oh, did that one sting? I bet it do, because I am the resonance warlock. I share my pain with whatever target I pick. So that is actually a really OP ability for a fight, like, because depending on like how muscular you are or how much endurance are, you could basically outclass your opponent in anything. So basically, Maverick could just be like, punch his leg, and because he's like a big muscular guy, got probably a lot of fat on him, it's probably not going to affect him all that much. But like it's Mirio, so like he'll feel like the intense pain of that. So yeah, he goes into more explanations of the abilities, like, I get any injury and the target will get the exact same one if they punch me just like they punch themselves. So go ahead, use that drain ability on me, you'll just suck yourself dry. So yeah, he'll get the pain from Mirio's draining ability, but Mirio will get the pain of it himself. So yeah, Maverick is going to be like a really tough opponent to deal with. But again, he should have been like really more like he should have been like mocking Mirio. He should have been like, okay, I'm aware of what you are, so I'm not going to take you lightly. I've been told what your abilities is, but I'm still going to be the best counter to your ability. So he goes on to say, so how's it feel to have the whole arsenal made worthless? Sorry, Bucko, but you've picked the wrong opponent. So yeah, Maverick is kind of like the worst opponent when you've got a draining ability going on. But Mirio counters by saying, for someone that inflicts self-damage, you seem awfully sure you have the upper hand. As Maverick reveals what's under his shirt, like he's got a lot of scars, he's got a lot of battle scars, and says, "This ain't my first rodeo using that ability. I'm used to." He's basically used to using his ability on himself. I'm so tough, both physically and mentally. I can handle all the pain anybody wishes to dish out. Ain't nobody beating me in a tough guys contest. And he continues on by saying, so where do you want the pain to next? I can give it on anywhere, like, the guts, maybe behind here. I'll let you pick whatever spot you want to get damaged. And Mirio's like, oh, okay, I get it. So I get to choose then. You're not giving me much options here. Well then, in that case, how about the arm? And yeah, so Mirio basically figures out like, oh, maybe considering Maverick's targeting me to use his ability back on, I wonder if the reverse can happen. And sure enough, as he cuts his arm, Maverick feels the pain as well. So he's like, oh, not used to stabbing pain, are you? Blunt force trauma? And he's like, and Maverick's just like, what the hell is that? No, it's nuts. But yeah, Mirio says like, oh, if we're sharing the pain, that means it goes both ways, right? And Maverick basically confirms this, right? But you're not supposed to do that to yourself. But again, that's the ability. That's kind of like the ability. So they're kind of using both their abilities to their advantage in kind of effective way here. So like Maverick uses abilities. Mirio could basically heal himself, and it's the same thing here. Like he'll cut himself, but he can heal from any wounds. But Maverick's still going to feel that pain from that sword slash, and it's going to be like just this intense back and forth. Maybe like Hashwolf and Uryu from their final battle in Bleach. Hopefully done right here, which, from what I've seen from the trailer of the anime for Part 4 of Bleach, looks like we're going to get an expansion on that fight. But yeah, it's basically sort of similar to here, like Shinsui's ability, Hashwolf's ability, Uri's ability, like all those abilities just merging here together. As Mirio says, like, who do you think you're telling that to? You did your homework on my abilities, but yeah, did you bother to look into my personality at all? My favourite thing in the world are teasing people and gore. I love to watch other people twitch in pain. Rin from 100 Girlfriends would really like Mirio in this chapter. She really would. And so to close out the chapter, Mirio explains, and because I heal from any injury, I'm amputated to my own arm. It's not that I don't feel pain. Pain does hurt a lot, but you know, I can't say that I dislike it. There's something exhilarating about seeing a messy bloody gory wound. And as Maverick's like, hey, now, slow down. Mirio says, no one is beating me in a tough guys contest. Let's not be so hasty. As Mirio proceeds to stab himself, which causes an intense amount of pain on Maverick, and he says, who was it that was picking the wrong opponent again, Bucko? And that's where the chapter ends. So really good setup to the fight here. And yeah, Maverick seems to be like the perfect opponent for Mirio to go up here, because it's like, oh, his ability is that he can heal and he can drain abilities, and he's a vampire as well. He's a good swordsman, and given Maverick's ability, like, oh, since he has an ability that can inflict pain onto the opponent, it should be able to go both ways, perfectly countering it. So yeah, perfect counters to each other. And given the fact that Mirio stabs himself at the end of this chapter, I can't see this fight lasting more than at least I assume this fight is gonna be wrapping up in the next chapter, and then moving back to the fight between Aggro and Wolf, or maybe figure out like, okay, what's going on with Hibana, Nico, and Charmy. But yeah, really good fight. Got to learn what Maverick's true ability is. Really good ability for him to have in a series like this. And yeah, seeing how Mirio perfectly countered it. Can't wait to see how this is going to resolve in the next chapter, but something we'll have to wait and see. But for now, what did you guys think of this chapter? Let me know, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.